In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this colorful 3D bead project. This is what your finished product might look like. If you look over here in the layers panel, I want to show you what your final will have in it. It's going to have 3 layers. One of them is going to be the background layer. If I turn the eyeball off temporarily, you'll see that the other 2 layers actually have a transparent background. If I turn the eyeball off on the middle layer, you'll see that that's kind of the fuzzy colored shadow that's behind the 3D beads. And of course, the top layer is the 3D beads themselves. So let me show you how to do this. Go to File, New, and I'm going to create a new document called 3D Beads Justine. And the width is going to be 12 inches, the height 9. The resolution is 72 because this is only for the internet. If I was going to print this, I would change the resolution to 300 instead. Click OK. There's my blank canvas. The first thing that I'm going to do is use the filter menu to add a little bit of noise to this. So filter, noise, add noise. And I'm going to make the amount 125 and the distribution Gaussian. And click OK. So you can see this is now sprayed with this colorful little dots. So I'm going to go back to the filter menu and this time choose Pixelate and Mosaic. That's going to change the little dots into squares, and I want the cell size of the squares to be 40. So I'll click OK on that. But you can see that it's really desaturated now, so I need to bump up the color. So I'm going to go to Image, Adjustments, and Hue and Saturation. I'm going to make the saturation way over here on 100, so you can see it's really bright. Maybe a little bit too bright, so I'm going to back it off a little bit to maybe about 40 with the lightness. The hue doesn't do much, it just redistributes the color. So you can move this around, and when you get to a spot that you like, just click OK. So the next thing that I'm going to do is make this a bit larger by going to Image, Image Size, and changing this top box up here from pixels to percent. I'm going to increase this 300%. And you'll notice that the bottom number changed automatically. I'll click OK, and it made those squares really large. On my keyboard, I'm going to hold down Control and then click 0, and it will make that fit onto the screen. The next step is to make these squares turn into circles by going to Filter, Pixelate, Color Halftone. I'm going to set the radius to 60, the channel to 1, the first channel to 1, and the other channels to 0. And when I click OK, it's starting to look like our final product. But we have way too many of them. So I'm going to go over and get the crop tool, choose a section where I like the colors, and I'm going to go over about 6 beads and down about 7. You can choose a different configuration if you want to. It's up to you. Now I'm going to hit Enter and Control 0 to make that fit on the screen. And now we're on the home stretch. So the next thing that I'm going to do is make a copy of this, and the keyboard shortcut is Control J. So you can see over here that I actually have the background and layer 1. Now I'm going to make one more copy, Control J again. Now on the first 2, I need to get rid of the white background. So I'm going to get the magic wand tool. If you click and hold on the magic wand tool and choose the second one down. Now I'm on the first layer, so when I click the white, I'm going to hit Delete. And I don't really see a change yet because I'm seeing the other ones that are behind it. So now I'm going to go down to layer 2, the middle layer, and I'm going to click Delete again. Now I'm going to deselect. So select, deselect. Now I'm going to go to the background layer and I'm going to change it to white. And the way that you do that is to make sure that white is on top over here in our color swatches panel, and then hold down Alt on the keyboard and delete. And you'll notice that over here in our background layer, instead of the beads now, that's filled with white color. So if I turn this off, you can see that the white is actually missing from layer 1 and layer 1 copy because we just deleted it. So I will turn that eyeball back on and we will get started on layer 1 copy, making these, right now the beads look a little bit flat, so we're going to make them look more 3D by adding some inner shadows and bevel and emboss. So I'm going to go down here to the FX button and go to blending options, and I get this window opened up. We're going to add a lot of these different options on here to bring out 3D qualities. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go to inner shadow, and I'm actually going to click the word inner shadow, and it's going to change what options are available over here on this side. So click right on the word, and now I have these options. So you can play around with this and see what you like the best, but what has worked for me in the past is an opacity of 56, an angle of 132, I'm going to say distance 16, choke 0, and size 13. And then I'm not going to change the noise. So again, you can fool around with these by moving these sliders and whatnot and get a different effect if you want to. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is add bevel and emboss. So I'm going to click this box right here in front of bevel and emboss, and then actually click the words bevel and emboss. And I have a new set of options right here. So let's see, I'm going to leave this style set to inner bevel, the technique set to smooth, the depth I'm going to change to 75, leave the direction, and I'm going to set the size to 15. I'm going to leave soften where it's at. For angle, I'm going to change it to 135 and take off use global light. The altitude I'm going to change to 74. The highlight mode, I'm going to leave it on screen. The opacity I'm going to change to 100. Shadow mode, I'm going to switch it to linear dodge. Linear dodge. There we go. And then the opacity I'm going to change to 26. Now again, you can choose different values if you want to, just by moving around the little sliders and changing the values to something different. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and click OK on that, and you can see that we have this kind of white highlight, and then we also have a darker highlight behind it, and these beads are looking pretty 3D now. So the next thing that we're going to do is the colored shadow. So I'm going to click this middle layer, and I'm going to make it fuzzy, and then I'm going to move it down and to the side a little bit so that it looks like a shadow behind the top layer of beads. So with this layer clicked, I'm going to go up to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and I'm going to put the radius on 7. And you can see these little dots now are, this is before, they're sharp, and now when I've blurred it to 7, they're really fuzzy. So I'll click OK. Now I'm going to get the Move tool, and I can just click and drag to bring those shadows out a little bit. And I can also use my arrow keys on my keyboard. I think that looks pretty good right there. So that is the finished product. So go ahead and save this project as a PSD, and then save a copy as a JPEG and put it on the Photoshop page of your web portfolio. That's it for now.